What a crazy Bitcoin dump. And today we're going to be talking about exactly what this means for the coming week. So make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell for notifications because we are bringing you the juiciest and the most timely Bitcoin updates here on YouTube. Is this a buy the dip opportunity? Why did we get such a big drop? Well, first of all, we need to understand the context of this market and what exactly has happened. Last week, we got a big move up to around $44,500. And in the Casper Crew VIP Discord, this was the major short setup that we were looking at. We wanted to take the high with bearish divergences and then get a move to the downside. Now notice we were going to take profit one early at the golden pocket, but let the rest ride. Why? In case of dump. And would you look at that? We took the high with the bearish divergences. We hit to take profit one, and in case of dump actually did happen. A huge shout out to the Casper Crew taking this extremely juicy short trade along with me. Now, as we came up to that high and we did make a higher high, we can see on our indicator market Cipher B, over time, the momentum waves and the money flow are both getting much lower, giving us that very bearish upside down Sam Bankman-Fried man booby pattern. And especially if we overlay this on the chart here, we can see extremely clearly that the boobs are getting lower over time. The red pepperoni nipples getting lower over time as the price is getting higher. This in the medical literature in the New England Medicine Journal is known as a bearish divergence, and typically it does lead to a significant move to the downside. So let's talk about where we actually came down to. Well, you can see if we go to the daily time frame, we are still technically speaking in a very bullish chart. We have not yet made a lower low on the daily time frame, and we are seeing quite a bit of a buyback here. In fact, we came down and basically filled some single prints, and if we take a look at an order flow chart, we can see that big move to the downside was not actually shorts entering into the market. This was simply a long squeeze, right? These were over leveraged longs that were longing this entire area, thinking that, yeah, this is going to be the next breakout of the bull flag. We can see all those longs pretty much opening up in this section of price action, and then boom, long squeeze, they all get liquidated. As soon as they get liquidated, we actually do see a lot of longs coming in. 11 million longs, 8 million longs, 14 million longs, 12 million longs opening up. People are actually buying the dip. And what we're seeing right now is something called a bullish divergence, where although we're starting to see a lot of people shorting this, getting very, very bearish after the drop, the price is unable to make a lower low, even though we're seeing many more shorts than longs. So right out of the gate, this is not necessarily the most bearish thing in the world. However, there are a few words of caution. When we go down to a lower time frame, we have indeed put in a lower low, right? We've been saying for a long time that as long as we don't make a lower low than this previous higher low, then this is still extremely bullish. So in my mind, this right here is our first local sign of weakness on this chart. Now, we also have two CME gaps to be aware of. First of all, we have the CME gap to the downside at 39,243. We've been saying for 2 weeks now that gaps tend to be filled more often than not. And 2 weeks ago, Bitcoin got a massive pump to the upside, leaving behind a gap on the CME futures chart. Okay, what does that look like? Well, if we come over to the CME futures chart, we can see that the Friday candle closed right down here, and then that Monday candle opened right here because the futures markets, the traditional markets, don't trade over the weekend. And a lot of times what happens is the market pushes back down to fill the gap before another big move to the upside. Now, we also left behind this week a CME gap to the upside. So we know a lot of times these gaps tend to be filled. So what are we looking for right now? Well, for me, a very key level to reclaim if we want to see higher Bitcoin prices is going to be $42,800. Why? Because if we can reclaim this level, this is showing for sure that this is just an anomaly and the market wants to continue to trade Bitcoin at these higher prices. However, if we fail to come back into that area, I'm keeping my eyes right now still on this CME gap. Why is that? Because if we get another drop down to the CME gap to fill that gap, we very well may be printing a bullish divergence on some of these time frames, all right? Also known as the uneven butt cheek pattern, where you have a very, very juicy left butt cheek and a very, very skinny right butt cheek. Medically, once again, in the New England Journal of Medicine, this is known as a bullish divergence. And we can see if we just superimpose the cheeks onto the chart, this is clearly a bullish sign. All right, so that is what I would actually be looking for if we get another move to the downside. Now, here's something else. Because we have locally changed market structure, this is our first tip-off that potentially we are going to get more of a correction here. And so what does this mean? This means that we need to be aware of the following. Whenever you start to change market structure, where you make a lower low than the previous higher low, showing potentially now that we're entering into a downtrend, you need to be pulling your Fibonacci retracement from that high to that low. And you're always going to be marking out that area in between the 786 and the 618 Fibonacci, all right? The way you're going to get these levels on your chart is you go to the Fib retracement, double click, put on the 618, put on the 786. Those are really the only two things that matter. Draw a little box between there, because if this is truly a trend reversal, we are going to come into this box and get another rejection. And keep in mind, guys, that the CME futures gap is coming right inside of this green box as well. So we have a very, very nice confluence for potentially more downside if we come into the box. And we also have a nice confluence basically to our downside again, getting a bullish divergence at that CME gap that is yet to be filled. Now, objectively speaking here, guys, when we take a look at some of these higher term timeframes, I'm going to go to the Coinbase chart. We know that we have broken out of a very, very important level, 38,676. This is the high volume node of the entire bull market right here. And whenever you see a parabolic move like this right here, where we just kind of get this rounded bottom and then blast to the upside, what this does is it leaves behind lots of potential liquidations, lots of stop losses, people who have been longing and trailing their stop losses up here, or using irresponsibly high leverage because price is just not going down, and they can. What happens when people start to trade like this is something like what we saw last night, where we get this massive long squeeze, because what happens when a long trade gets stopped out or liquidated in the order book, that looks like a short, right? So it's going to push the price down lower as people get liquidated. So we need to understand that we still have a lot more liquidity below us. This could happen again, is what I'm trying to say. And when it does happen again, we need to be aware of this very important level right down here. It's the high volume node of the entire last bull market. And if this is a true breakout, we would want to see a retest of this level. Then we could get another push up to our $50,000 after washing out some of the over leveraged longs. All right, now keep in mind, this high volume node right here, 38.7, is also pretty close to our CME gap. All right, it's kind of hard to see it on this chart, but the CME gap is pretty much right around the high volume node. So this is a massive area of confluence. I will be looking for longs from this area, potentially reaching up to the $48,000, $50,000 level. And of course, we do need to be aware of a potential lower high being put in after a local change of market structure. Guys, if you want to trade along with us like we do in the Casper crew, make sure to check out MEXC. This is my go-to exchange. Literally the best deal on fees that you could possibly get right here. 0% limit order fees. 0.03% market order fees unless you hold 1,000 of their own coin. They'll actually cut the fees in half. It's the best deal you can get on fees. If you want to join the Casper Crew VIP Discord, where we give the juicy trade setups, we do multiple live streams every single day, giving you our setups, giving you our plans with multiple instructors. You can go to jasoncaspertrading.com. Go ahead and click the link to join the VIP Discord. Also, if you want to get educated, check out the courses, guys. The very cheap course right here, this scalping course. I walk you through step by step how I was able to make $25,000 in a month scalping the very low time frames. We also have comprehensive courses in here from White Phoenix, one of our instructors, as well as a complete beginners program. All right, guys, that is it for today's video. Make sure to like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. May God bless you all in the name of Jesus, Yeshua, the Messiah. Even if you are not religious, I still pray you and your family are super blessed, and I will see everybody in the next video. Peace!